Chapter 40 Ice Cold in Kiruna. Right, Bouncer, you tie his legs. I'll get his hands, not too tight now. We don't want to hurt him. Just give us some time. Right, Graham, replied Bouncer as he worked to secure Barnaby. Perfect, said Graham. Are you okay, Barnaby? Yes, I'm fine, thank you. I must say you are both very considerate, said Barnaby as he tested the bindings. Why, thank you, said Graham. We will treat you as we would hope to be treated. We're all just doing our jobs after all. It's not personal, is it? Well, if you put it like that, then no, it isn't, replied Barnaby, slightly taken aback the boy's kindness. So what are you going to do now? Asked Barnaby. We may seem to be naive, Barnaby, but we are not completely stupid, gasped Graham in response. Ah, well, it was worth a try, don't you think? I could have caught you off guard. Yes, indeed you could have, said Graham. See you later, perhaps. When we return, I am more than half expecting you to free yourself within the hour if I am to be completely honest, said Graham. Well, you never know, said Barnaby. Fingers crossed, I suppose, said Bouncer. Yes, indeed, fingers crossed, said Barnaby as they boys walked out of the room. Once they had left the room, they made sure the "Do Not Disturb" sign was on the door. Did you turn the camera on, Bouncer? Yes, Graham, we will have a constant live video feed. Brilliant, put it on my heads-up display. I'll keep an eye on Barnaby, said Graham as they walked to the stairs. We can always release that knockout gas if we need more time, smirked Bouncer as they started down the stairs to the foyer. After deciding to wait near the main staff car park at the laboratory at shift change, the boys waited for two suitable people to arrive in their cars. I don't like this, Graham, said Bouncer. No, nor me, Bouncer, replied Graham. But I think it is the only way we can get on site and we won't hurt them. We'll just knock them out and leave them into their cars. Won't the guards see them? Asked Bouncer. No, they'll be on the back seat with a blanket over them. We should have a couple of hours tops to do what we need to do. Oh, okay, that doesn't sound so bad then. Come on, Bouncer, let's get this done. 5 minutes later, the boys had rendered their unsuspecting cohorts unconscious, retrieved their ID badges and phased to look like them. Looking at the badges to see where they should go after entering the building, they saw a work location of Physics Lab No. 1. They decided to play it by ear and hopefully it will all work out in the end. Once through the security check, they could easily see overhead signs pointing the way. So far so good then, Graham, said Bouncer. Yes, Bouncer, I have everything crossed at this time. As they started off toward the laboratory, they could see others heading towards changing rooms. They quickly decided that this was probably the correct thing to do, having just arrived. Having no idea where their lockers were, they decide to go to the toilet and deploy Ringo to carry out reconnaissance ahead for them. After no more than 2 minutes, Ringo had returned with good news. Their lockers were next to each other, and only a few meters away. Once dressed in the lab coats and hair nets, the boys walked on to the lab. On the way they saw something very interesting. Aha! Whispered Bouncer. See, Sebastian, you were so right, Graham. So right, well done. Thank you, Bouncer, replied Graham. But look who's with him, replied Bouncer. It's Barnaby, but how on earth did he escape so fast? With one look at the heads-up display, Graham solemnly replied, He didn't, Bouncer. What do you mean, Graham? Of course he did. He has stood right in front of us, said Bouncer in astonishment. Look, Bouncer, he is still in our room, said Graham, pointing at the screen. But how can that be? I've no idea, but we'll let Ringo sort it out, said Graham. As Ringo deftly flew towards Sebastian and Barnaby, his AI spotted a nook only a few meters from them in which he would be completely hidden. As he landed, his audio sensors started to relay the conversation. Well, Barnaby, what are we to do? Asked Sebastian. I have reviewed the dig reports from Greece, and indeed around 95% of the material has gone. It looks like it vanished overnight. It was expertly done as well, I might add, sir, replied Barnaby. Once again, Barnaby, what are we to do? Will there be enough for the experiments to keep the timeline intact? Yes, sir, but only by a few grams. We will have to reduce other testing to compensate. The electromagnetic tests have to be carried out first so we can discover the warping capabilities, and by simple deduction we must have done, as I am still here, sir. Yes, of course, smiled Sebastian. Without the discovery you could not be here. I must admit, Barnaby, this time travel business is really playing with my head. Yes, sir, it can certainly do that, replied Barnaby.